My granddaughter left early before the trouble started. 10 weeks. Those little kids all killed in Manchester last week. Outrageous.
Or something suspicious happens on the Strip, we can take a...
What if I told you that Las Vegas isn't losing tourists because of bad weather, crime, or even disappointing shows, but because of something far more insidious? Fees. Not the kind you see coming, but the relentless, hidden charges that drain your wallet before you even realize what's happening. Picture this. You book what looks like a steal, a $99 room on the Strip, budget for some gambling, and a few nice meals. Then reality hits. By the time you check out, that $99 room has somehow become $180. The $15 cocktail turned into $25 after taxes and fees. Suddenly, the dream Vegas getaway feels more like a trap designed to extract every last dollar from your pocket. And tourists are finally waking up. They're canceling trips, they're warning friends, they're choosing literally anywhere else. Today, we're counting down 9 fees that are systematically destroying Las Vegas from the inside out. And by the end, you'll understand exactly why the Strip feels emptier every single month. Number 9. Resort fees. The mandatory scam that started it all. Picture this. You're scrolling through hotel sites, hunting for a decent deal on the Strip. You spot something promising. A room at New York, New York for $89 a night. Not bad, do you think? You click through, enter your dates, and suddenly, the total doesn't match. Wait, where did that extra $50 come from? Welcome to the resort fee, the single most hated charge in all of Las Vegas hospitality. Here's how the con works. Hotels advertise one price to get you through the door, then slap on a mandatory daily fee that isn't included in the advertised rate. These fees typically run anywhere from $35 to $55 per night, plus tax. So that $89 room, it's actually closer to $145 after the resort fee and taxes hit. And what exactly do you get for this fee? Access to a gym you'll never visit, Wi-Fi that barely works, and maybe a bottle of water. It's essentially paying for things that used to be free, repackaged as value. The Federal Trade Commission has been investigating resort fees for years, calling them deceptive pricing practices. But the casinos don't care. Why would they? These fees rake in hundreds of millions of dollars annually across the Strip. For corporate giants like MGM and Caesars, resort fees are pure profit, dressed up as amenities. And here's the cruelest part. You can't opt out. Even if you tell the front desk you don't want Wi-Fi, don't plan to use the gym, you're still paying the fee. It's mandatory, which is exactly why tourists feel scammed. The backlash is real. Online reviews are flooded with complaints. Social media is full of viral posts from visitors who feel misled. Families who once made Vegas an annual tradition are now choosing destinations where they don't have to decode hidden charges just to book a room, and the consequences ripple far beyond angry Yelp reviews. Data from UNLV's hospitality school shows that mid-tier Strip properties have experienced double-digit occupancy declines since 2023, with fee fatigue cited as a primary factor. When guests feel tricked before they even step foot in the lobby, the entire trip starts on the wrong note. Every interaction afterward is colored by resentment. That's not how you build loyalty. That's how you drive people away. But if resort fees were the beginning in Vegas's war on tourists, the next charge on our list is what really sealed the deal. Because once the city decided to charge you just for parking your car in the middle of the desert, the message became crystal clear. Everything here is designed to drain your wallet. Number 8. Parking fees. Paying to leave your money behind. For decades, free parking was one of Las Vegas's most sacred traditions. The logic was simple and brilliant. Why charge people to leave their car when the real money is inside waiting to be spent? Every casino understood that getting people through the doors was step 1. Once they were inside, gambling, drinking, and spending would take care of the rest. Free parking was the ultimate loss leader, and it worked beautifully. Then, in 2016, everything changed. MGM Resorts broke the unspoken rule and announced parking fees across its Strip properties. At first, the backlash was fierce. Locals swore off the Strip entirely. Tourists felt blindsided. But MGM didn't back down. Within months, Caesars Entertainment followed suit. Then Wynn. Then every major operator on the Strip. Today, parking fees are standard, running anywhere from $15 to $25 per day for self-parking, and climbing to $30 or even $50 on busy weekends or during major events. Here's what makes this particularly insulting. Even if you spend hours gambling, even if you drop hundreds of dollars at the tables, most casinos still won't validate your parking. You're literally paying for the privilege of walking in to lose your money. And we're not talking about downtown Manhattan here. This is the Nevada desert. Land is cheap. The casinos aren't hurting for parking real estate. This is pure greed, dressed up as operational necessity. The financial impact is staggering. MGM alone pulls in over $100 million annually from parking charges. But what they gain in short-term revenue, they're losing in long-term loyalty. Regional drive-in traffic has dropped sharply, according to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Surveys consistently point to parking fees as a top complaint among visitors from California, Arizona, and Utah, the very markets Vegas relies on for midweek business. Think about the psychology here. When a couple from Los Angeles drives 4 hours to Vegas, they expect to spend money on entertainment and gambling. That's the trade-off. But when they roll up to the casino and immediately get hit with a $40 parking charge before they've even walked through the doors, it plants a seed of resentment. Every subsequent expense feels like another insult. The magic evaporates before it even begins. Locals have adapted by avoiding the Strip entirely. Off-Strip casinos like Red Rock, Green Valley Ranch, and station properties still offer free parking, and guess where the locals now spend their money? Meanwhile, tourists are increasingly choosing destinations where parking isn't weaponized as a revenue stream. Laughlin, Reno, even tribal casinos in California suddenly look a lot more appealing when you factor in the extra costs Vegas is piling on. And if you thought paying to park was the worst part, just wait, because the next fee on our list is so sneaky, so quietly embedded into every transaction that most tourists don't even notice it until they're already halfway through their trip. By then, the damage is done. Number 7. Concession and convenience fees. The silent wallet killer. Imagine ordering a burger and fries at a casino food court. Nothing fancy, just a quick meal. The menu says 16. You think? Fair enough. But when the bill comes, there's a mysterious line item, concession recovery fee, adding another $1.25, or maybe it says service charge, tacked on, even though you carried your own tray to the table. No server, no table service, just you, your food, and a charge that wasn't mentioned anywhere on the menu. Welcome to the world of hidden add-ons, where every transaction in Las Vegas comes with fine print designed to squeeze a few extra dollars out of unsuspecting tourists. These fees typically range from 4% to 8% of your bill, appearing as concession fees, convenience charges, or administrative costs. And because they're buried at the bottom of receipts, most people either don't notice or feel too awkward to make a scene. Here's the outrageous part. These aren't tips for staff. They're not taxes. They're pure profit for the business, dressed up as operational costs. A 2024 survey by the Las Vegas Review-Journal found that over 60% of tourists felt confused or misled by surprise charges during their trip. Many assumed these fees were going to workers, only to find out later that servers saw none of it. The businesses pocket everything while customers walk away feeling scammed. The problem compounds across a trip. Budget $20 for lunch, but after the concession fee, inflated sales tax, and suggested tip, you're paying closer to $27. Do that 3 times a day for a family of 4 over a 4-day weekend, and you've blown hundreds more than planned. Those small charges add up fast, turning what looked like an affordable vacation into a budget-busting nightmare. And it's not just food. Show tickets come with processing fees. Nightclub covers get hit with facility charges. Even buying bottled water at a convenience store can trigger an electronic payment fee if you don't use cash. Every single transaction feels designed to nickel and dime you, creating what economists call friction cost fatigue. Basically, people get so tired of being bled at every turn that they just give up and stop spending altogether. Social media has amplified the outrage. TikTok is flooded with videos of tourists posting receipts with absurd add-ons, warning their followers to avoid Vegas entirely. Reddit threads dissect every hidden charge, turning what was once word-of-mouth marketing into a coordinated campaign against the city. Vegas used to thrive on reputation. Now that reputation is turning toxic, one viral receipt at a time, the psychological impact is worse than the financial one. Tourists expect to lose money in Vegas. That's part of the deal. But they expect to lose it on their terms, at the tables, on shows, on experiences they choose. What they don't expect is to feel robbed by a hamburger. And when even buying lunch feels like a scam, the entire city starts to feel like a trap. But if convenience fees make tourists feel nickeled and dimed, the next charge on our list hits even harder. Because this one isn't hidden in a receipt. It's right there on your bank statement, charging you money just to access your own cash. Number 6. Food and beverage markups, when cheap eats became a luxury. Once upon a time, Las Vegas built its reputation on unbeatable food deals: the 99-cent shrimp cocktail, the $4.99 prime rib dinner, the all-you-can-eat buffet for under $10. Casinos happily lost money on cheap food because they knew you'd stay longer, gamble more, and spend big. But in 2025, that strategy is dead and buried. What replaced it is shocking even to longtime Vegas regulars. Let's start with the buffets, the very symbol of Vegas excess. In the golden age, you could walk into almost any casino and find a sprawling spread for $8 to $12. Today, you'll struggle to find a buffet under $40 per person on the Strip. Most run $60 to $100, and that's before drinks. The Bacchanal Buffet at Caesar's Palace charges over $80 on weekends. The Wicked Spoon at Cosmopolitan isn't far behind, and what used to be 24-hour operations are now limited to brunch and dinner service only, with many closing entirely midweek. Even basic meals have become absurdly expensive. A standard breakfast, 2 eggs, bacon, toast, and coffee can easily run $28 before tip. Grab a burger at a casino food court? That's $18 to $22. Want a cocktail at the bar? Don't expect to pay less than $20. And if you're on the Strip during a busy weekend, it's closer to $25. Even bottled water, once handed out for free to gamblers, now costs $7 to $10 a pop at casino bars and restaurants. The stories that go viral tell the whole picture. A $30 bagel and coffee at Fontainebleau, a $45 hamburger at a mid-tier casino, a $20 Red Bull and vodka that's more ice than alcohol. These aren't outliers. They're the new normal, and tourists are documenting every overpriced transaction, posting receipts on TikTok and Reddit with captions like, "Vegas is robbing us blind." What changed? Corporate ownership. As Wall Street firms and private equity took over Strip properties, they flipped the entire business model. Food and beverage. Operations are no longer loss leaders. They're profit centers, expected to generate margins just like everything else. The result? Sky-high prices and shrinking portions. The experience feels hollow because it is hollow. The soul of Vegas hospitality has been replaced by spreadsheet logic. The backlash is brutal and measurable. Analysts at UNLV's hospitality school note that mid-market tourists are defecting to regional casinos in places like Oklahoma, Florida, and smaller Nevada towns like Laughlin and Mesquite, where food and drinks remain affordable. Even locals have stopped eating on the Strip. Why pay $25 for a burger when you can get the same thing for $12 off the Strip? And here's the kicker. When people feel ripped off on basics like food and drinks, they cut back everywhere else. Gamblers shorten their sessions. Families skip shows. Couples cancel spa appointments. Vegas might win $20 on a burger, but it loses $200 in potential gaming revenue. As one industry veteran put it, Vegas forgot that the $5 buffet was worth more than it cost. It kept people happy, and happy people gamble. But if inflated food prices feel predatory, the next fee on our list is even more outrageous, because it doesn't just charge you more for what you're buying. It charges you extra just for the privilege of buying it in the first place. Number 5. Ticket and entertainment fees. The fun tax that drains the magic Las Vegas used to promise world-class entertainment at a bargain. Lounge acts were free. Show tickets were reasonable. Live music poured out of every casino. But in 2025, the show might still be spectacular, but the bill feels like a cruel joke, and it all starts online, long before you even arrive. Picture this. You're browsing tickets for a Cirque du Soleil show. The advertised price is $89. Not bad for Vegas entertainment, you think. You add it to your cart, and suddenly, the price balloons. There's a processing fee, a facility charge, a convenience fee. By the time you reach checkout, that $89 ticket is now $135 or more. Want to print the ticket at home instead of picking it up? That's another $5. Prefer will call, another service charge. Every option costs extra, and that's before you even get inside. Many venues now require drink minimums, forcing you to buy $20 cocktails on top of your ticket. Pool parties and nightclubs are even worse. A $50 cover morphs into $90 after fees and taxes, plus a mandatory gratuity before you've ordered a single drink. The entire experience feels designed to drain your wallet at every possible checkpoint. According to a 2024 survey by the American Gaming Association, 57% of Vegas tourists said they skipped at least one planned show or event because of unexpected fees. That's a staggering number. More than half of visitors are saying no to entertainment, the very thing Vegas is supposed to be famous for, because the fees make it unaffordable. The ripple effects are devastating. Smaller productions, the magic acts, the comedy shows, the off-strip concerts are struggling the most. Tourists get burned by fees on the big shows and decide not to risk spending on smaller venues. Local performers, once the soul of Vegas nightlife, are being squeezed out by a system that favors corporate profits over culture. And perhaps worst of all, these fees damage trust. When a tourist leaves saying, "The show was great, but I'll never pay those fees again," Vegas loses more than a ticket sale. It loses a repeat visitor. It loses someone who would have told their friends to come. It loses the magic that kept people coming back generation after generation. Entertainment is supposed to be the heart of Las Vegas. But when the heart comes with a dozen hidden surcharges, people stop falling in love. They start looking for the exit. And the next fee on our list proves that even the core Vegas experience, gambling itself, isn't safe from the fee epidemic. Number 4. Gaming fees and reduced payouts. The rigged table trick. For decades, Las Vegas promised gamblers one thing above all else: a fair shake. You could sit at a blackjack table, order free drinks, and know that even though the house had an edge, you were at least getting honest odds. But in 2025, even the games themselves have been quietly rigged with hidden costs, and it's driving regular players away in droves. Let's start with blackjack, the bread and butter game of Vegas. Traditionally, a natural blackjack paid 3 to 2. Bet $20, get a blackjack, win $30. Simple math. Fair odds. But walk onto the Strip today, and you'll find most tables now pay 6 to 5. Same $20 bet, same blackjack, but now you only win 24. That might not sound like much, but over time it increases the house edge by nearly 2%. For anyone gambling for hours, it's the equivalent of an invisible tax on every winning hand. Then there are the table game fees. At some casinos, electronic blackjack and roulette machines now charge you $1 or $2 per hand just for the privilege of placing a bet. You're literally paying admission every time you play. Even poker rooms have quietly raised their rake, the house's cut of each pot, making it harder than ever for casual players to break even, let alone win. Slot machines, once famous for their loose payouts, have tightened dramatically. According to the Nevada Gaming Control Board, strip slot payout percentages now average just 85% to 88%, among the lowest in the state. Compare that to off-strip locals casinos, where slots pay closer to 93% to 95%. And you can see why savvy players are fleeing the Strip. You can literally get better odds in Laughlin, Mesquite, or Reno. And let's not forget the drink service. Free cocktails while you gamble used to be the ultimate Vegas perk, a small consolation for the money you were losing. Now, many casinos use voucher systems or drink monitoring lights. Translation: if you're not betting enough, that free margarita will never arrive. What used to be a generous gesture has become another lever to squeeze customers. The result? Gamblers feel cheated. Online forums are filled with longtime visitors swearing off the Strip entirely. It's not fun anymore, they say. When you know the game is stacked against you, even more than usual, why bother? And when gambling, the very soul of Vegas, starts to feel like a scam, people don't just stop playing, they stop coming. Data backs this up. Casino win per visitor has stagnated, even as fees and reduced payouts increase. That suggests tourists are gambling less once they realize how tilted the odds have become. The Strip is slowly killing the golden goose, squeezing players so hard that they're choosing to spend their money elsewhere. But if rigged tables and tight slots are bad, there's still one more fee that perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with modern Vegas. It's not a single charge. It's a culture, a philosophy, a systematic approach to extraction that has transformed the city from a playground into a trap. Number 3. The Vegas Premium. Death by 1,000 cuts. At the very heart of this list isn't just one fee, it's all of them, layered together into what economists call drip pricing, but what tourists simply call getting screwed. This is the Vegas Premium, the unspoken tax you pay at every turn, slowly bleeding you dry until the entire experience feels like one long con. Here's how it works in practice. You book a room for $99, but after resort fees, parking, and taxes, it's $180. You budget $40 for lunch for two, but after concession charges and inflated tips, it's $60. You buy show tickets advertised at $100 each, but by the time you check out online, they're $150 a piece. Even your blackjack winnings are smaller thanks to 6 to 5 payouts. At every stage, Vegas takes a little more than you expected. Death by 1,000 cuts. The numbers tell the story. According to a 2024 UNLV hospitality study, visitor satisfaction on the Strip has dropped 22% over the past 5 years, with hidden fees cited as the #1 complaint. That's not a small dip. That's a collapse. And it's showing up in real, measurable ways. Foot traffic on the Strip is down. Mid-tier casinos are reporting declining occupancy. Regional competitors, from tribal casinos in California to Gulf Coast destinations in Mississippi, are picking up disillusioned travelers who just want a transparent vacation. What makes the Vegas premium so psychologically damaging isn't just the money, it's the broken promise. Vegas used to be the one place where the little guy felt like a big shot. Free drinks, cheap meals, transparent games. That created an illusion of generosity that kept people coming back. But now, tourists leave with a completely different memory. We got scammed. And when a city built entirely on reputation starts losing trust, emptiness follows. Empty tables, empty theaters, empty sidewalks where neon still burns bright. But the magic is gone. The Strip is still physically beautiful, but emotionally, it feels hollow. Tourists don't want to take selfies in front of the Bellagio fountains anymore. They want to post receipts showing how much they got ripped off. Social media has accelerated the collapse. Every viral post about a $30 bagel or a $9 Diet Pepsi reaches thousands of potential visitors who immediately cross Vegas off their list. Word of mouth, which once built the city, is now tearing it down. And unlike a marketing campaign, you can't buy your way out of a reputation for greed. So yes, the single biggest fee-killing Las Vegas is the Vegas premium itself, the systemic, relentless nickel and diming at every turn. Until that changes, Sin City's biggest gamble isn't the roulette wheel, it's whether visitors will ever trust it again. And right now, the odds aren't looking good. Number 2, the psychological toll when fees break the fantasy. Here's something most people don't talk about when discussing Vegas fees: the emotional cost. It's not just about money, it's about how these fees make you feel. Frustrated, deceived, disrespected. And when those feelings pile up over a 3 or 4 day trip, they don't just ruin the vacation, they ruin the memory of Vegas itself. Think about it. You save up for months, maybe a year, planning this trip. You're excited. You're ready to let loose, have fun, maybe win a little money. Then you arrive and immediately get hit with parking fees, then resort fees, then inflated food prices, then drink minimums, then entertainment surcharges. By day 2, you're not having fun anymore. You're just angry. Every transaction feels like another insult, another reminder that this city sees you as nothing more than a wallet too empty. That's the real damage. Vegas is supposed to sell escapism, fantasy, a chance to forget your problems and live a little. But when every single interaction is designed to extract more money, the fantasy collapses. You're not a high roller. You're not living the dream. You're just another tourist getting fleeced, and you know it. The psychology of hidden fees is particularly toxic. Studies show that people hate surprise charges more than they hate high upfront prices. If a hotel advertised rooms at $180 from the start, people would accept it and decide whether to book. But advertising $99 and then adding $80 in fees creates a sense of betrayal. You feel tricked, and once that trust is broken, it doesn't come back. This is why visitor sentiment has collapsed. It's not just about the money, it's about dignity. When you feel respected as a customer, you're willing to spend more. You tip better. You come back. You tell your friends. But when you feel like a mark, you do the opposite. You leave bad reviews. You warn others. You never return. And Vegas is learning this lesson the hard way. The casinos thought they could squeeze a little more profit out of every guest without consequences. They were wrong. The consequences are here, and they're devastating. Empty hotel rooms, canceled conventions, families choosing Disneyland or cruise ships instead. The fees didn't just cost Vegas money, they cost it its soul. Number 1, the breaking point. Why tourists are finally walking away. So here we are, 9 fees that are systematically destroying Las Vegas. But the real question is, why now? Why are tourists finally walking away after tolerating years of increasing costs? The answer is simple. They've hit the breaking point. For a long time, people were willing to overlook the fees because Vegas still felt special. The shows were amazing, the food was good, the energy was electric. But somewhere along the way, the balance shifted. The fees kept climbing, but the experience didn't keep pace. Now, tourists are paying premium prices for a subpar experience, and they're done. Consider the alternatives. For the cost of a 4-day Vegas trip, 2 people paying for hotels, parking, food, and entertainment, you're looking at $2,500 to $3,500 easily. For that same money, you could fly to Europe. You could do an all-inclusive resort in Mexico or the Caribbean. You could take a cruise. You could visit multiple U.S. cities with better food, culture, and no hidden fees. Suddenly, Vegas doesn't just feel expensive. It feels like a bad deal. And once people realize they have options, they exercise them. Tourism data shows that while domestic travel is rebounding overall, Vegas is lagging. International visitors, once a huge part of the Strip's business, have dropped by more than 60%. Compared to pre-pandemic levels. Even convention business, once Vegas's bread and butter, is shifting to cities like Austin, Nashville, and Miami, where attendees feel more welcomed and less gouged. The casinos will eventually have to respond. Basic economics demands it. When prices rise faster than perceived value, demand collapses. We're seeing that collapse in real time. Hotel occupancy is down. Gaming revenues per visitor are stagnant. The Strip is quieter. At some point, the market will force a reset. Prices will have to come down. Fees will have to become transparent. The experience will have to improve. But until that happens, Vegas will continue bleeding tourists. The tragedy is that it didn't have to be this way. Vegas built an empire on generosity, or at least the illusion of it. Cheap rooms, free drinks, fair games. That formula worked for decades. But corporate greed killed it. Wall Street demanded higher margins, and the casinos delivered at the cost of the very thing that made Vegas special. So here's the bottom line. Las Vegas didn't lose its magic overnight. It sold it, piece by piece, to the highest bidder. Resort fees, parking charges, concession add-ons, ATM fees, hidden hotel charges, food markups, entertainment surcharges, gaming fees, and the Vegas Premium, the culture of extraction that ties it all together. These 9 fees aren't just annoying, they're existential threats to the city's identity. And until Vegas remembers that tourists are guests, not ATMs, the Strip will keep getting emptier. The lights will keep shining, but the crowds won't come. Because no amount of neon can hide the fact that the city has become exactly what it once mocked, a tourist trap. What do you think? Have you been burned by these fees? Drop your story in the comments. And if this opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started exposing the truth about Vegas.